Good morning, everyone. Welcome at the Q&A clinics on PMS for PUI use and also use of API, Application Programming Interface. Today, we are with Marcos and myself and Dino Sampasis, our network product owner, to take any question and hopefully to clarify any doubt you may have while using PMS or even trying to access PMS. Before we start, I just would like to anticipate few housekeeping notes. Please bear in mind that this session is always recorded. The recording of this meeting will be made available via the EMA YouTube channel and also via the official EMA event webpage. And then you can interact with us as usual by accessing Slido tool. This is a tool made available for participants to ask any question or provide your input in order for us to reply to and clarify hopefully to any doubts you may have. As usual, if you decide to use Slido, of course, it's voluntary basis, but if you decide to use this, you can remain anonymous, but you also giving your consent to process your personal data according to the EMA data privacy statement that we have for Slido. Last but not least, just a bit remind to everybody connected. We are about to host a bunch of events. As usual, the Q&A clinics. We host this meeting monthly. The next sections will be on the 19th of May, same time at 3 to 4 p.m. and then on the 17th of June from 11 to 12 a.m. Just an anticipation to you all, we have agreed to extend the Q&A sessions, the monthly webinar, until the end of this year. So in May, you will see that new dates will come to cover every month until December included. Importantly, we are also hosting on the 21st of May for the full day, the second day of the PMS Info Day. This event will be live broadcasted, and you will be able soon to register via the event webpage where you can find the link in this presentation. Last but not least, we also have a SPORE and dedicated XCMPD status update webinars. These are again live broadcasted events. There are two dates for the moment. One is the 9th of July, so in summertime. You can register again to the event webpage. You have a link there. And also the last one is supposed to be on the 8th of October again in the morning, and you can register also at the dedicated webpage event. Now, you can use your mobile phone if you want to just take a screenshot from the QR code, or you can just use your phone or your laptop, and you can Google Slido.com, and you can use the hashtag PMSQA 2904. This is the code to access these specific sections, and you will be directed to the possibility to request and submit input and questions via Slido. You can always send your question, and you can also upload the question that you think is most relevant to you to be heard as an answer. And you can we will also show the most relevant question and hopefully the non-answered ones. Today we are both Marcos and myself, so usually one of each other we try to reply also in write to the same answers, and to show what has not been able we are not been able to reply in written. I will now end up I give the floor to Greta for the moderation of the Q&A from your side. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Veronica. So I'll share my screen now. Okay, so we will go with the popular. So we have observed some PMS IDs not retrieved in PUI are retrievable through API but not PMS PUI. What is the reason for it?
So I don't know, Marcus, if you want to take it or you want me?
Yeah, so I have replied to this one.
Ah,
There might be different reasons why this is not happen, this is not shown. So first of all, might be that maybe you don't have the correct role for the correct company in the product UI. You just need to check in IAM that you have the correct roles. That might be one of the reasons. The other reason might be that, as explained in the Q&A document of PMS, there is an issue with the some authorize those forms, where we are capturing in PMS, so in the PMS API, the EV code of the authorize those form instead of the RMS ID. If this is happening, the product can be seen in the API, but it cannot be seen in the product UI. So we are working to solve this issue. Hopefully in the next couple of weeks, this can be solved. So as soon as we have an RMS ID on the authorized those form, these products will be shown in the product UI. So if you have access to the API, you can check, you can look for authorized those form and check what you have, whether you have an RMS ID there or an EV code. And if you see an EV code, then that is the reason. And yeah, as I said, we are working to solve this issue. We have some thousand of products with this situation, and we will be solving this, like I said, in the next couple of weeks.
Perfect. Thank you, Marcus. When we will see updated chapter 2 and chapter 6, last we said in April.
I can take over this one. Yes, it said April, but there were a few delays in the finalization of both chapters, and also the Easter break. So we aim to it by mid of May. Chapter 6 actually is not really chapter 6. We call it. I think you're referring to the implementation guide for the right PMS API. This is also ready in terms of package of informations and links because this is a zip folder. What we are finalizing is the introduction document explaining what has been changed, and for that we're finalizing that, as I said. So we target now mid of May. So before the PMS Info Day, you can. Apologies for the delay.
Thank you, Veronica. The MAH org ID and LOC IDs are not up to date in PMS as per the latest XCMPD data, especially in case of image name change. When can this known issue be solved, as there is no timeline in Q&A FAQs doc? Is there any tentative timeline?
I see, Marcos, you replied already. Maybe you want to clarify.
Yeah, so as we explained in the Q&A document, there is an issue on how the data from OMS is consumed by different systems, one of those systems being Iris. So Iris right now is not taking updates on PMS when there is a name change or some small updates, and therefore this is not reflected in some of the consuming systems. So it's not only impacting PMS, it's impacting other systems, and we have a team that is working on finding the solution because it's not an easy one. It's impacting several systems, and we need to define, okay, which are the steps that we need to follow, what is the implementation that we need to do, etc. So unfortunately, we don't have a timeline by when this issue is going to be solved. We are working on it, gathering all the requirements, etc. But yeah, unfortunately, for the moment, we don't have this a timeline for this.
Thank you, Marcus. So just give me one moment. I don't know why it's not showing anymore. Can you see my screen still?
I was able to see before,
Okay.
but if you want me, I can
Just
share.
no, don't worry. I will share again.
Okay.
Thank you. Sorry. Okay. Perfect. Okay. When the bulk functionality will become available, what exactly is possible to do with these new skills?
I can take that. So the bug functionality is, according to the latest PI event, the plan that is scheduled for the end of Q3. This is because we need to wait for the last deployment to be performed, and then internally, Marcos and I, we need to test the system in advance, identify anything that needs to be refined, implemented, or fixed if needed, hopefully not, and then we can open the external UAT with our SMEs and testers to make sure that this is working. So with all of these activities in line, we calculated that and mid-end Q3 we are able to release in production. Now, what exactly is possible to do with these next skills? It's going to facilitate, let's say, your life. If you have a big portfolio of products and you need to update your manufacturer's information, you can update it all at once. It means that for a bunch of products, you can simultaneously update all the products and send it to us straight away. You don't need to do like you do today, manually select the org ID, the RMS ID for the operation type, entering manually also the date. You just do once and you replicate this across the whole set of products that have the same information. It's going to streamline, let's say, the process. And I hope I replied to you.
Thank you, Veronica. There are several distinct issues with PMS to EV, especially related to the manufacturer item in PMS. When are going to be solved? Are you aware of the incorrect generation of concentration and presentation strength info in PMS?
I don't know, Marcus, if you want to take it, but yes, we are aware, and there is a bug that has been identified for that. I don't think it's going to be solved immediately, or maybe Marcus, you have more clear.
Yeah, no, we are aware of this, and we have a bug. We are working on this. We have several bugs, and then we have a list of priorities, and we will be working on all these bugs.
Thank you.
Thank you, colleagues. For active ingredient manufacturers holding CEP, the issuing regulatory agencies is EDQM. This data is also part of the certificate master file PMS EU AG Ref 654. Wouldn't this data be duplicated considering both these sections?
I need to take chapter 2 because I don't remember by heart. So, regulatory agencies is part of certificate master file. I see. Okay. So, it's going to be yes, you need to duplicate. So first of all, this functionality is not open for edit purposes, so you cannot still update the certificate master file area in 654 of chapter 2. But in essence, if you notice the type of information that you have, the elements are different. So it means that you will have to be entering the information manually. This is because there is no link to, as a reference link to the manufacturer section. And so the answer is yes, you need to enter this information by yourself. Once we will be opening, not yet.
Thank you, Veronica. In one of our products, the name of the active ingredient was entered inconsistently in XCVMPD, resulting in multiple PMS IDs. If we submit a fix in XCVMPD, will that automatically fix PMS and remove the duplicates?
Yes, technically, yes. Marcus, you want to
Yeah. In theory,
express?
that is how the system works. So if you fix the data quality issue and now the grouping elements are the same, then the EV codes will be grouped under should be grouped under the same medicinal product, and the duplicate should be removed. So if you send the correction to XCMPD, you should be able to see that, yeah, those duplicates disappear and the AV codes are grouped under the same PMS ID.
Thank you, colleagues. Manufacturer submission. When the medicines a regulatory agency organization field, not always easy to find, will become not mandatory. As said in the last webinar, I can finalize the change request as long as that field is mandatory.
So you can finalize the change request. We are going to update chapter 2 as we said, but the newly introduced updates will be that you can will become conditional. But of course, if you need to submit this information, you can select any loc ID as long as it's you can select the organizations. You don't be worried. We are aware of these situations. So for the moment, you can still finalize it. We have scheduled some improvement in PUI. Marcus, do you have do you remember the sprint when this is going to be
I don't remember
implemented?
the sprint, but it's going to be done but before the end of the quarter for sure.
Yeah. So for the moment, colleagues, just please select anything, and then you will have the possibility to remove it once this has been implemented.
Perfect, thank you. 1 MP as 3 packs per product. EMA is sending third pack only for one prod, changing full name, grouped element. This is leading to the generation of additional PMS ID in PMS. How EMA plan to manage this issue?
Okay, so I have also replied to this one. So what we have done, we have improved the validation process on XCBMPD. So if the MA holder is submitting different DV codes that should be grouped under the same medicinal product, the team is validating those records at the same time to avoid this type of issue. The problem is that if these EV codes are submitted in different days or at different moments, then this process might have not been followed, and that's why you might have seen that one EV code has been validated, or the in this case the full presentation name has been changed and not for the others. We are trying to keep improving this process, but this is the improvement that we have done so far. If you have found this issue, what you can do is you can open a ticket for the XCMPD team, and you can ask them to validate in this case, the three EV codes in the same way to avoid this issue. So as we said there was a question before, if the issue is solved in XCMPD, it will also be solved in PMS. So here the suggestion would be to open a ticket for XCMPD, asking them like, hey, you have validated this EV code in this way. There are two remaining EV codes to be validated in the same way, and that should solve the issue in PMS.
Thank you, Marcus. Are you aware that the dynamic export from PMS PUI for the strength info is it not showing correctly the number? The zeros are not shown. For example, instead of 500 in the export is available 5. When the issue is going to be solved, please?
No, I didn't notice. I don't know, Marcus, if you did, but I'm sharing these comments with our development team, and thank you for not notifying this. It's useful.
Yeah, I mean, so what we did, we included a change to remove extra zeros after the comma because we were having like a lot of zeros after the comma in the export. Um, but we were not aware of this issue. So yeah, we will need to check with the development team, so we can check what is happening.
Thank you. Could you clarify if the int birth date field mandatory per chapter 2 and migrating from SIAMED as outlined in chapter 7 can be left blank if the Euro birth date EBD is marked yes? Also provide more details as chapter 2 doesn't cover this.
I need to read the chapter 2. If you don't mind, we can skip it and I will reply in the invite.
Yes.
Sorry, to the
Yeah, we can
invite
check
document
because
proposal.
this European birth date is not a yes, no, it's a date. So I don't really understand this question. Maybe, yeah, we need to check internally because both of these fields are dates. It's not a yes, no. Um, so we might need to check. And also the international birth date and the European birth date might be different, might be the same or a different one. So we can take this internally, and if needed, we can also, yeah, improve chapter 2.
Perfect. Thank you, colleagues. We will answer in writing for this one. When the changes are approved in RMS, should we wait for CMS to approve nationally to implement the changes in CMS, like manufacturer updates, or can we implement them in all at once post RMS approval?
So maybe I can take this one. So we need to somehow follow the same process that we are following for XCBMPD. So until the, let's say, the variation or the change is not approved by the specific country, you should not update your record. So if you have received the approval from the reference member state, then you can update this record. And then do the same for the concerned member states as soon as they have provided the approval. What you can also do, because right now you are, let's say, it is not mandatory to wait these 15 days. You can wait a bit more to include the manufacturers, for example, is you can wait until you have the approval from all of them. And then once we have the bulk update, you can update all your products at the same time. That is something that for the moment you can do for the manufacturers. If there are changes to other data that has to be submitted to XCBNPD, then you need to submit the XCBNPD process. But for manufacturers, this is something that you can do.
Perfect. Thank you, Marcus. Why all the regulatory authority organization are not available in the drop-down on Medicines Regulatory Agency organization in PMS, even though these are active and marked regulatory authority in OMS?
I see you replied.
Yeah. So the thing is, um, in the regulatory agency field in the product UI, we have applied a filter. So not all the organizations from OMS are shown because otherwise it would be like a huge list that is not really needed. But it seems that we applied an incorrect field based on feedback that we have received. So it's not a field on regulatory authority, it's a different term that we are using. So we are working on two things. First of all, we are working on changing this filter so we allow more organizations to be zoned in this field, and also changing the conformance of the regulatory authority. So now it is mandatory. We will change it to optional. Um, so that is the reason why not all the organizations are available in this drop-down list in the product UI, and we are working to solve the issue.
Thank you, Marcus. If the substance is marked with SVG equal 0, an alternative substance is suggested, but they are not verified, SVG equal null, what is EMA suggestion should do on them?
That one I think I need to check with the SMS team. I think my suggestion for the moment would be don't do any change on your substance. As we have explained several times, this change on SVG flag zero substances is optional, is not something mandatory for the moment. So my suggestion would be in those specific cases where, yeah, there is no is not verified the alternative substance, maybe it would be better not to do any change. So in case then when the new substance is verified, then depending on the outcome, you can perform the change or not. But I would not make any change for the moment.
Thank you, Marcus. Is there any deadline for PMS API that is still not yet finalized for software vendors?
I can take this one. No, you don't have a deadline. You don't need to be ready today. What we're doing at the moment is releasing this bunch of documentation. The first version was already released 1 or 2 months ago. Then we revised it based on the comments to facilitate the improve the level of information that you need to be ready to implement and adapt your system to the PMS API. We are planning now to launch the UAT for the Write API. There has been a call for expression of interest in becoming a tester, and we plan to launch this test ideal and hopefully at the end of Q2, beginning Q3. With those who are ready, and we do expect that subsequently, over the time, over the months and the year, many other vendors will be join and trying to align their system to PMS API. So you don't have a deadline, but if you're a software vendor, so you are recommended to read this documentation, which is published on the PMS webpage. A new version, I said before, is coming by mid of May, and then to try to adapt your system and prepare for writing into PMS from your machine-to-machine connection.
Thank you, Veronica. Which is the event that triggered the data exchange between XVMPD database and the PMS one? We experienced that even if we change data in XVMPD, they are moving in PMS only after we receive ACK3. Is there any ACK3 the trigger?
No, no. In fact, as soon as so if the first acknowledgement is correct, so it means that the information has been accepted by XMPD. That is the trigger for us to take the data in PMS. So it's not the third acknowledgement at all. We would need to check because maybe the fact that we validated the data made maybe a change, for example, in the authorizers form, this issue that we have, and then you just saw it, or there was a change in the applicant if there was something wrong. But it is not the third acknowledgement, the one that is triggering the changes in PMS. That is all that I can say about this question.
Thank you, Marcus. Is there a limit to the number of products that can be added in a single CR?
So
Sorry, I thought I was
yes.
talking. I was muted. Please, Marcus.
Yeah, so the thing is, um, There is no a limit as such. You could select 1,000 products, but that would take a long time to load all these products, and you might take, when you perform the changes, then if there are issues on a specific product, I would say it's not really recommended to um, create a change request with so many products. Also, because right now you can only do single updates, so you need to do product by product. We are working on a performance activity on the bulk update, and we have established like a range of products based on so the performance, and the we are aiming to have like 100 products that can be added in a single change request for a bulk update. But then we will do some recommendations on how to do this bulk update, so we can minimize the amount of errors and the time spent, waiting for the products to be loaded. So right now, we have the MVP of the enrichment process where you can do product by product. My suggestion would be to, add as lowest amount of products as possible, because yeah, changes are done product by product, and then whenever we have the bulk update, we will give recommendation like to focus on by MRP or GCP procedure. So we group some amount of products, but we will provide additional information on whenever we have the bulk update.
And if I may complement also Marcos, your feedback, colleagues, I'm keeping an eye on the change requests that the users are submitting, and the completed ones also in particular. And I noticed that most of the users, they do submit up to in medium 4 maximum products. I saw some change requests submitting up to 7 products. So this is usually in average what I notice the user are doing. But indeed, there is no limit. Just be aware that you maybe you spend a lot of time in manually entering all of these products, and then you time out. You're kicked out from the PUI because the time finished. So, as Marcos mentioned, it's better to keep it in a consistent number. So, my suggestion would be try maximum 10 products at the time and then submit it, but don't spend too much time using like 100 products all at once, because it may fail and it's frustrating. That's why the backup, the upload is needed.
Thank you, colleagues, for the comprehensive answer. When a manufacturer of active ingredient is updated via PMS edit, will it auto-sync to the ingredients manufacturer section?
No, because there is no relationship yet. So at the moment, the edit functionality in PUI is only active at the medicinal product level. It means that if you enter the manufacturer's data, and in the only section when you can enter at the end of a medicinal product, you will find it only there. It's not directly auto-linked or auto-synchronized to the ingredient section or to any other section when, according to chapter 2, we have a reference to that. We haven't enabled yet that relationship, so it's not possible at the moment.
Thank you, Veronica. Since the vendors take time to integrate the software IIM application to the new PMS API, maybe by end of 2025, can we expect some deadline extension from EMA for structured data that needs to be submitted for PAC and MFG?
So this is a question that we usually receive since we indeed announced the plan for the launch of the PMS API. At the moment, there are no change in terms of deadlines, nor for the products that are impacted by the ULCM list or for those that are not impacted. Nevertheless, we have forwarded this request to the ESMP team, because the decision to agree on this deadline it was their side. So at the moment, we didn't receive any feedback, and we will try to follow up with them if there are any discussion going on that. But at the moment, we don't have any new deadline to share.
Thank you. We sometimes see that data in PMS does not reflect last submitted version of XEMPD, but some older version. Why is this anomaly? Is this anomaly when, as per PMS XEMPD synchronization, data should be reflected in PMS as per latest version submitted in XEMPD?
Marcus, you want to take it, or I can take it?
Yeah, no. So we have identified a couple of that some products are taking more time to synchronize. We have a queue that is taking a bit of time to be updated in PMS, and we are investigating and trying to improve this. We will be investigating. I mean, we are already doing this, but we will try to put a bit more resources on this to investigate why this is happening. We know it's unfortunately, but we need to investigate what is the issue with this.
Thank you. Is there a review of PMS data propedeutic for the use of EAF? If yes, how are we supposed to check the data if not all data are extractable? Also, how do we know which issues in PMS affect the EAF and how?
So, the electronic application form, the variation form at the moment for CAPS and no CAPS is using already PMS data, but not all the data sets, just a limited set of fields from PMS. Of course, when you submit or you when you need to make sure that the PMS data are aligned and correct, because this will be reflected in the EAF. And the review is basically on your side. You need to make sure that these information are correct. Um, and then it can be reused. Now, the other question, how we are supposed to check is the data if not all the data are extractable. So in reality, if you have access to, I don't know if the user here has access to PUI or EPI, but if you have access to PUI, you can export for that products into an XML or Excel file the information. You can either do from the product view page. So you look for the PMS ID and you click on the link and you are directed to the product page and you can export this information. Or you can use if you have more products to check, you can use the dynamic report functionalities. If you have the industry qualified user role or the regular user role, or if you are an NCA, you can do the same. You can export the information that you can access from one of those dynamic reports. You can even filter. It depends what you're looking for. Yeah, I hope I replied.
Thank you. Some products have been found to be missing from the PMS database, but these items had already been entered into the system and were associated with a PMS ID, this potentially undermining any review phase.
I think you are referring to products data that are in XMPD available in API but not in PUI. I'm not entirely sure. So unless Marcos, you have a better understanding, I would kindly ask to open a ticket because I need more information. Which product is
Yeah, I
missing?
think this might be related to the fact that some products, when there's an update on XBMPD, they have changed the PMS ID. So maybe that is why if you
Ah,
look for this PMS ID, you will not be able to find it. This product has changed the PMS ID. So that might be the reason why. Yeah. In theory, the change is only on the PMS ID, but we understand that if you have reviewed it and then you don't find it again because it has a different ID, you may need to review it again. So that we understand. That's why chapter 9 we have this. There is a section explaining why those IDs can change. So you can try to avoid this.
Thank you. The more the PRD records are submitted in EV, the more different issues appear in PMS. We would like to make it more efficient and resync the data one time and not many times. What is your advice?
Well, my first question here would be, why are you resubmitting EV codes? That would be my first question. I can understand that you need to update EV codes if there are, let's say, variations or yeah, changes to be made. But then I don't really understand why they are resubmitted. Um, Yeah, so my suggestion would also be like check the known issue document. We are really working on that. We have identified all the issues that we have, and we are working on them to try to avoid as soon as possible all these issues that we have in PMS. But again, the question would be why resubmitting EV codes and all these things.
Thank you. So next one is, when the manufacturer references implementation is planned, year to PMP 5.4 ingredient 6.4 for the enrichment.
So on the PMS official webpage, we have released the new roadmap in PMS and the timelines. If you access that document, it's just one slide. You will see that we aim to open the full enrichment on the PMS data model from 2026 beyond. So it means that we need to work on releasing all the functionality links to these products and allow test, of course, and allow then the user to submit the product's data and update this entirely. So these two, I mean, these references, the level of the manufacturer, business operation are part of the full enrichment. We still need to decide to agree on a strategy. It's too early stage for us because we need to complete other activities linked to this edit MVP for supporting the SMP, so we don't focus in 25 on this. But we need to define whether it's the case to go for a full enrichment or just to go in chunks again, but not too much, because of course we don't want to have millions of little go lives for the edit functionality. So we still need to agree. There is no firm deadline for that or a date on when this is going to happen, but it's scheduled upper management for discussion on a strategy beyond 2026. So you still have time.
Thank you, Veronica. So, Organization A acquired Organization B. The facility operates under Organization A with no changes to management and processes. Both share the same address and have different LOC and Organization ID. Advice needed on tracking both in PMS database. Should Organization B removed and only Organization A tracked?
So when you have, in this case, the org D acquired the org B, first of all, what happens is that the organization ID that was created first, so with the old already, is the winner, and the other one it's embedded inside. So what you will see is that the survivor org ID will be displayed, but in the backend, the recent already created is still linked to that. If you have the same address, this is fine because it means that any location associated to the acquired org will be amended as part of the survivor one. But this is the difference. You will see just the survivor org ID being displayed. Now the question, should org be removed? No. You don't remove anything. Anything is not removed from OMS service. It's just amended. So you don't actually see that displayed, but it's still part of it. It's part of the record. I hope I clarified. Otherwise, I'll fix the documentation from OMS service too that clarifies these aspects. So maybe it's even more clear.
Thank you. For AMPs have coated granules in sachet as authorized dose form, but it reflects in PMS as coated granules. Is there a conversion from the XUMPD term to the RMS term ID done in PMS?
So we have received a ticket for that, and I don't know. I discussed this yesterday, but we still need to investigate. I think there is an issue with the mapping, but the team in the data steward team, they are working on it. So please do expect a few updates on the tickets straight away. I think you're the user who submitted this ticket. I don't have the full analysis. I just noticed quickly that there was an issue with the mapping. So probably that is the reason why.
Thank you. If 3-arc on a grouping element causes the duplication of a PMS ID and then the grouping elements are realigned, will the PMS ID automatically merge again?
And here I need the experts. Marcus, please.
Yeah, I think that is one of the we replied before. Yeah, if you correct the data on the grouping elements in XCVMPD, it will be realigned in PMS. It's similar to the one we replied at the beginning.
Yes, thank you. And to have the data correctly reflected in PMS is needed, depending on the scenario, to resubmit to force the system to sync the data correctly. This is the reason to resubmit and is as per the Q&A doc advice.
We're referring to the dummy update scenario. I think Marcos, yeah, because the
Yeah, but here is depending on the scenario. So not all we need to make sure that we know when sending an update in XCVMPD will fix the issue that we have in PMS because we force the system. So it's not always so. For example, if you have this issue with the mapping, it depends. So you should not send those dummy updates to XCVMPD just for the sake of sending data again and forcing the system. You need to make sure, or we should have told you that this will solve the issue. Because sometimes we see that even if you send an update to XCVMPD, or even if we do it, the issue will remain. So it's not always, I mean, not always is the case that we need to submit an update to XCVMPD to fix the issue. But I can understand why you say that.
Thank you. As per guidelines, should we populate orphan designation status in PMS if it was withdrawn before product approval, given we have multiple products with similar circumstances?
so you cannot populate the ODD section because this is not open for editing purposes. So when we have ODD in this case in Europe, they are fulfilled by in case of centrally authorized products, and those information are coming at the moment from Cyamed. So you don't need to populate it because it's straight away loaded by this system. If you do notice anything that it's not, of course, in line with your information, then of course, please do raise a ticket because we need to consult the Cyamed team, data steward, and see what's going on, where it needs to be fixed, and where is the issue.
Thank you. Also, we wanted to inform you that we have launched the survey for to collect feedback from you on this Q&A and all the future Q&A events that we will host. It takes only a few seconds, so please leave your feedback so that we can see what are the areas of improvement, if something that we do is appreciated, and we should continue doing so. Thank you. Okay, so if the authorized dose form present a non-current value or with a value that is not present in the RMS list, such as coated granules in sachet, we will see the MP in the PMS.
Yes, you can still see that because non-current means that is no longer recognized by EDQM as a valid term to be used. But nevertheless, if you have non-current, you can still see the same value. It's just a recommendation to use the most current recommended also term from EDQM. So if you had the chance to open RMS portal and you look for, I don't know, backside authorized pharmaceutical dose form RMS list, you will notice that under the non-current term, there is a section called like suggested current term, and there is a link and it directs you straight away to the terms that EDQM believes should be used instead. So it would be up to you then to use it and update XUMPD, and so this is propagated to PMS accordingly.
Thank you. The MAH mapping issue are not solved since have been not solved for months. Why is it taking so long from all sides? All the possible action are completed and service desk ticket is ongoing.
We need to see, I don't know. I would love to have the ticket ID because I don't know. I can't check this way. I need the ID, and I can go back to the data steward team and see what's going on. But just for you to know, without having knowledge about this issue at the moment, if the ticket, the way we do usually, we have the data steward team, and they try to fix at the best of what needs to be fixed. If it's not possible from their side because it's a technical issue really related to the system, we need to assign to the further level support, who are the our PMS developers, and the ticket goes. We create a bug, and the bug goes into a queue, and then it's pending for bug fixes. We changed the provider recently, so there is a bit of delay on the fixes that we need to do because they have to do the knowledge transfer and take on board the previous work. But this is going to be, if it's in the queue, I can check. If you can share with me the ID, I can have a look. But if it's in the queue, you just need to wait for this to be resumed. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. For quantitative composition place order, strength of excipients is not available in PMS. It is said in SD ticket that it will come from XVMPD, but strength is not coming from XDNTD for excipients. Can you please clarify on this field?
So here we need to see, and Marcos, please jump in if you want. We need to see if the composition of the excipient, the strength, you're talking about at the level of the pharmaceutical medicinal product. Because if it's at that level, it should come from excipient PD, and I don't have again a ticket ID to check the analysis that has been done by the with us to your team, but if it's correctly structured in XMPD, it should be propagated to PMS at the level of the pharmaceutical product. There was a ticket a few days ago that I checked with the team, and it was something similar. But then when I investigated in XMPD, there wasn't any excipient composition strength expressed, so that's why it wasn't there. I don't know if this is the case. I'm sorry for that, but without the ticket ID, I can't really answer to that. I just can give you the full background. Please, Marcus, jump in if you maybe had the chance to see something similar.
Yeah, no, I
Yes,
agree with the answer. Yeah.
Perfect, thank you. In PMS, authorized pharmaceutical form right now is not taking into account combined term and combined pharmaceutical form RMS list. Is that correct? And the RMS mapping issue related to dosage form in PMS?
So if you open the PMS, in the PLM portal, there is a guidance under PMS called section guidance. If you go there, there is an FAQ document that we keep updated. And there is a question related to that, a commonly open question. And we explain that in PY, you only see authorized pharmaceutical dose form terms from the RMS list. You don't see the terms coming from the other list in RMS, but you can see that in API. This is due to a limitation that we have in PY. Now, I don't know if you're looking in PY or in API, probably in the first one. But if you have access to API, you should be able to see this term. It's just that it's not propagated. I don't know, Marcus, if you want to add
Yeah, no,
anything.
the answer to this question is yes. That is the explanation of the issue, that we are not taking into account these two lists. And therefore, if you have a product with a term coming from one of these lists, you might not see it in the UI because we are not considering these lists.
Perfect, thank you. I think we will take the last two questions. If IMP present as authorized dose form spray, not current value, how we manage this? Can we select tube or other?
So the answer is no. If your product has been authorized with an authorized dose form spray, that is your authorized dose form. It's a non-current term because it's not recognized, let's say, by EDQM, but it is the way it was authorized. You cannot change the authorized dose form to tube or something different just because it's a current term. Your product was authorized in this way, and because we need to have this information we need to have the spray information in PMS because it was the way it was authorized. We have created the term in RMS, but as non-current, just to know that is not an EDQM term. But you don't need to change anything unless you want to create a variation to change the authorized dose form and discuss with the MCAs, but for the moment, we don't recommend this. You need to submit to XCVMPD whatever you have in your SMPC, in this case, SPRY. That will be mapped to an RMS value that is non-current. No problem. It just means that this term is not from from EDQM. This is the only thing. But don't change anything. Your product has been authorized with a SPRY, so that is the way you need to report it.
Thank you. And we'll take the last question. I use PMS PUI for the data submission. The use of PMS API is not mandatory, right? Can I use only the PUI system and not the PMS API?
Totally, it's up to you. If you have a machine-to-machine connection because you're using a RIM system, you can use API. But by the way, API is not open for editing purposes, so you can't submit. But if you prefer, because maybe you're a small, medium enterprise and you don't have a RIM system, you just use PY. There are just two different tools where you can access data and then take the relevant actions. There is no obligation.
Perfect. Thank you, colleagues, very much for all the answers. And it's already 12 o'clock. So I think our time during this Q&A session has ended. I don't know if there is anything else you would like to add.
No, just thank you very much for joining. And if you want, we have the next Q&A section on the 19th of May from 3 to 4 p.m. So you're welcome to join. And for the rest, have a good day. Thank you.